My husband told me it was gonna be a problem, but keep it dark. But yeah, so yeah, and so I forgot what it was called, like Circle Park or something. I'm not sure what the park, Algic Park, Algic, and then so and every piece of the circle, kind of like if you have a circle map, and then how you like break it down, was like a different school, and then there's a school of our arts, and then they have like a graduate school with school medicine that was off of that circle. But so Middle Earth was close to, I think, humanities, like the social, social, like poli-sci area, the School of Sciences, and then the School of Education was also kind of like a little annexed area, and then the international like students too. And then if you kept going that way, I think it was engineering and like math. That's where I had some of those classes. And then it was science. So like I got the dorms that was like farthest from science, and that was my major. Well, psychology was also part of the social sciences, which I had a lot of classes there next to Miller. And then as you came back, science was pretty big because science is a big part of Irvine. My dean was really cool. I actually had a class where I got to. It was with the dean. It was like 10 people in the class, and like it was like about health, and like we got to do it in his office, and he had like a freaking like one of those little orange things called. He had one of those trees, not clementine. I can't think of it, but he had one of those trees like in his patio, and he like, here, you taste it, and then like we had to do our BMI, and then we talked about like health, and he was like the actual dean of biological sciences, and I was like, oh, this is legit. That was probably one of my favorite classes. I also liked anything that was neuro related and lab, like hands on. Um, and those corresponding like lectures that went with it. I didn't have to do language because I did AP Spanish throughout high school, and so that was not a requirement. I was able to skip one science class, which I didn't, and I skipped math, which was a mistake. I should have done the opposite. So I could have done like a more advanced bio for fun, but like I had to do more advanced math. Like I did, instead of AB calculus, I did BC calculus, and then I don't know what else I did. I did statistics. I don't know, but it was math was hard for me in college. Like I just the lectures were so like not interactive like in high school math, and I was just lost. And organic chemistry was really challenging for me because like you had to, especially the second one, like the winter one, I had this ball teacher who like I just started skipping lecture. I hated it, and I didn't like his humor. I thought he was like try hard. He wasn't funny. And then I ended up having to retake the class because I didn't pass it. And then I did pass it, but I had to go to lectures and stuff. And he was actually a nice guy. I was just tripping. And you're like a know-it-all when you're young. And then I did humanities core. That was like my under division, lower division. What it's called, writing. And then my upper div writing was just the labs. You have to do a lot of lab. You make labs, and so it counts for writing. And like language, I didn't have to do, but I think the humanities core was like a year, and it also covered social sciences. And then I was minoring in psychology, and then I did my physics program in the UK. It was, instead of doing a whole year of physics, you do 2 semesters from July. It's like 2 months, July and August. And you got to do it in the University of Sussex, just close to Brighton. It's only like an hour or two from London. I wanted to see Pocahontas' grave, but there was actually riots happening at the time, so we didn't go there. But I did get to go to the Netherlands, which is my favorite, Italy, which was cool. But some of the restaurants were really good. But the pizza and the gelato, oh my gosh. Okay, France, Paris, France, kind of overrated. Really nice. Loved the Louvre, like the historical stuff, the museum, but like the food wasn't. I guess I just didn't find a good spot for food. I did like the pastries and the coffee and the churches. Those were nice. But yeah, Italy was actually really cool. Italy was like the last thing we did. It was in the summer, so like you just see people on mopeds and like everyone's dressed all fancy and you're like dressed in shirts because you're like sweating. But I was in good shape, and the food, oh my gosh, there's only one restaurant in Rome. I didn't go anywhere else in Italy, but Vanessa got to go to Florence and see like Pinocchio and stuff. And I don't know if she went to Venice or what is it called? No, I think that's it. And then Amsterdam was actually my favorite because the food was really good there. The art was really cool. We stayed in the World Trade Center hotel, which was funny. We had some good stories, and I got to see like the legalized. I got to see the Anne Frank's house, like where they hid in the attic. So not her house, but and that was sad. And then I got to we went biking on the canals. We also there's so many art just on the street as you go. Yeah, you do see the red street or red road, the red light district, where it's like legalized prostitution. It's actually really sad. Like you walk and it feels heavy and it feels sad when you see the woman in the windows. And yeah, and the legalized like all the cafes that were like marijuana cafes because it's legalized. So you saw all of that, and it's just kind of they actually like I don't think they changed the laws now. Where like if you're a tourist, I don't know if it's that easy to find a place. Like not all places, some places are just for locals. But at that point, I think locals were it was like open to tourists. Um, but they had their things instead of like their whatever was called like cake, like fairy, no magic cake, space cake instead of like brownies. They called it space cake, which was funny. And oh, there was a lot of beautiful parks with like greenery, a lot of biking. Oh my gosh, the food. We had like Chinese food or Thai food or something. I don't know what it was. It was so like noodles, so good. And then we also had the fresh oranges like in the streets. They just squeeze it. So good. And then there was an Argentinian place. Oh my gosh, the cheese. We got to go into Holland and oh, we went into the ice bar too. But yeah, I went with my ex, and like, so I was supposed to go with my roommate too, Christina, but then last minute, I don't know if she couldn't do it. And then I did make other friends that like we hung out here, like we did like a pub crawl in Brighton, and that was fun. That's where we made some friends there. And then when we went to go into, uh, when we did like outings, we would make friends. But that's the place where I dislocated my jaw in lecture in physics. And not that the teacher was boring, but I just overextended my arm. And then I looked at my ex and I was like, with panic, wild eyes. So I went outside and kind of like explained, like, like, close your mouth, I can't, like, I can't. And then so we went, and we didn't know where to go, so we went to the school of medicine, which is like not a doctor. And then they called the ambulance. Oh, we went to pharmacy too. The ambulance picked us up, and then they gave me like medicine, muscle relaxers, and some pain medicine. And then they were able to do it. But after a while, and I remember when they had me in the ambulance, they put the oxygen, and they're like, "All right, love, like close your mouth." Like they thought I just had a lockjaw, and like by relaxing it would be okay. But no, my bone had like come out of the socket. And, like it's kind of like a door hinge, and it's as if the door hinge it would go off the hinges, both of them, and yeah. And then, but when I finished, they were like, "All right, you're good to go." And then I didn't go to lab the next day because I didn't go to lecture and I didn't go to lab. And then I was able to recover. I think we went to Amsterdam and we would go to the library and like check out books. And I was reading a lot of Isabel Allende and I think Jorge Luis Borges. Oh, and we read Stephen King's not Stephen King, but he had like his other name and it was like The Long Walk or something. Oh, that was a good book, and we actually would read it together, which was funny. It was a good memory, a good time. I have a lot of pictures that are still on Facebook albums. Haven't looked at them in a long time, but yeah, I think that were the countries that we went to. But yeah, I would have to say that my favorite was Amsterdam, like Holland, the Netherlands, And everyone spoke English there too for some reason. Yeah, I was like, oh, Sprechen Anglais, and they're like, yes. Like, they kind of like stopped trying to talk in Dutch or whatever. And then as far as like taking subways, the tube, the London tube, uh, we got the London pass. And we had a good time. It was funny. But yeah, we pretty much did all the outings on our own. We wanted to do Spain, but we were like, oh, we have to study for our midterms. And then I didn't even end up doing anything with related to physics or bio, so I was like, dang it. Why didn't I go to Spain? But we did spend a lot of money, so that would have been like a lot more money. And I ended up going to Spain anyways with my family for when my sister's 30th. Um, but yeah, I guess I'm pretty well traveled. I've also been to Mexico. We did a spring break Rosarito trip. I don't know if that's Mexico or Baja California, but that was in, well, I mean, that's Mexico, right? But that was internationally, I don't think it's California. That was like my first year of college. We also went to Argentina, and we did more visiting family, but we were able to go to Mendoza, Buenos Aires, and Adrogué, and then also like Palermo. Um, no, not Rosario, was it La Huasha? La Joya, I'm just kidding. And then what's the Fashion Mart? And then Rosario. I don't know. It's like a beach where my grandma owns some. She rents out apartments that are pretty walking distance to the beach. It's nice. And we went in the summer because it's the equator south. So we left in the winter for winter break. I like Sabrina, my other oldest sister. She waited for me because they left a day earlier, I think, or 2 days earlier. And she waited for me to finish my last final, and then we took a layover to New York and then to Argentina. And I think my other family, they had a different layover. I think they did Florida. And then on the way back, we did Texas and then California, the LAX. Um, I've been to Texas. I've been to Indiana for marching band. I've been to Arizona, family marching. Uh, I don't think I've been to Florida. I haven't. Oh, I went to Tennessee. I went to. Well, we did a road trip to Texas, so we passed New Mexico, Oklahoma. What else do you pass that way? Texas, a long way too. On the way back, it was mostly Texas. Oh, Arizona. I think that's all the countries that I've been to. I've also been to Argozones, Orange, Mexico, and where else in Mexico? Oh, like TJ. Mm-hmm. That's all the place. I want to go to Hawaii. Okay, my wish list for travel points, like not anytime soon, but life goals is Australia, Ireland, Hawaii, which is within the U.S. I'd like to visit more of Argentina and more of the U.S. And then really cool to go to Costa Rica and Canada, like Alaska, Canada, like go up the Oregon, Washington, Idaho, or take a cruise, a Disney cruise to Alaska or to the Bahamas, either one. I would like to do a cruise, just a Disney one though. Oh, and I'd like to do the Disney World and the Tokyo Disney Sea, and then Shanghai Disney, and then Paris. Disney. I didn't go to Disney in Paris when I was in Paris. That would have been really cool. But I mean, I don't know. We just couldn't afford it. I remember one of the restaurants in Paris. Like I asked for like a meat plate, and what they gave me was like cold meats, and I was like, oh, and I tried the snail. It was whatever. But oh, one of the good things I did have in France, it was a restaurant that actually the bathrooms had the Titanic some Titanic decorations, like real ones, I think, and there's like the menu for the third class and second, like there's different menus, and I thought that was cool. I took a picture of it. It's probably on Facebook. Oh, and then in order to get to Paris, we took a ferry. Like the bus went onto a ferry, and the ferry crossed. I don't know what it crossed really, to be honest. And then you get into France, and then to get to the Netherlands, we took an underground train, I believe. It was called like Calais or something. That was the ferry. But yeah, the train was crazy too. Like you're still on the bus, but you're in the train, so you just stay in the bus and you like sleep or whatever. The ferry, you actually can get out, and they have like a Disney movie. They have restaurants, cafes, but it's like the middle of the night. But yeah, places to sit, and they have a store. They have like lots of things, options. And we went. You could go outside, and we went outside and saw lifeboats. And, like it was dark, so like we went back in. And then Italy, we took Ryanair, which is funny. Ryanair, if you know, you know. But yeah, we had like playing solitaire with our little tabletop. I think that in Italy was like the last thing, and then we went back because we came like there's two airports that we went to in London. There's Glasgow, I forget what it's called, but Heathrow, and then Glasgow, maybe? I don't know. It's with a G. And so we were supposed to leave internationally. We took the Virgin one, and they wear like red, and like they're like kind of like Austin Powers looking. Um, and I love airplane food and airplane movies. I don't care if I'm like not in first class. I've never been in first class, but yeah, it's like no trouble to me. The only time that I had like issues with the airplane was when I went to Tennessee. Something happened to my ears where it like hurt the next day. Even it was horrible, like the turbulence. It was in the winter. There was probably a storm. But yeah. So we went to the Heathrow one, and we had to that one wasn't open all night. So we actually, when we came back from Italy, we ended up going to I don't know. It's called, I think it's really G. And then we stayed there overnight, and we had like a pint because we'd get like cider and stuff. Like we actually got to the UK, like to University of Sussex, on the 4th of July, and so they gave us like a warm Stella Rosa and a burger for like, oh, because you're American, and that was nice. That was like our introduction, and then I thought everyone was really nice and accommodating, and the dorm situation, like my ex had a way better dorm than I did, and it was more centrally located. Mine was like far, like up a hill, and the bathroom sucked compared to the ones he has. And he had a computer lab when we did it, and the kitchen, and there was like a sink in the room. Oh, there was a sink in my room too, but the bathrooms were more private. Yeah. We would play Papa Taqueria, and then like we would Facebook message family or friends, and then study in like one of the libraries. It was pretty legit. It was a good time. I mean, nothing but like good memories there. Like of like the time but yeah, that was a good experience. Definitely, this is what caused a big chunk of my student loans that I'm still paying off to today. Because then they were unsubsidized, so it's like, oh, excuse me. But yeah, I don't know why I started mentioning that, but I guess it's a good thing to know my education. I also ended up majoring in psychology since I did that year of physics. Oh, that's why I was doing physics. I ended up like, since I didn't have to do that year of physics my junior year, I was like, oh man, I have so much free time. And I was like, well, let me just, tack a major on, because it wasn't that much of a difference to go from minoring to majoring. And I was actually really interested in psychology. And I had originally got into UCLA and all that through psychology. And then I switched because I loved my bio AP class, and I was like inspired to be like a doctor. It's like pre-med, which I ended up graduating. I double majored. got my Bachelor's of Science in Biological Sciences and my Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. But I walked with biology because you had to pick one. I did biology because that was the one that was like felt the most challenge, I guess. But yeah, and that was in 2013 that I graduated. I had a crazy story about almost not passing the class my senior year, but because of being the senioritis with the teacher, luckily shed grace on me and I was able to complete it in the summer. Oh no, my finger was on the speaker. Hopefully it wasn't covering the mic. And then that's ruined. Anyways, I'm just gonna probably wrap it up with like the YouTuber that uses their handsies. Oh man, I didn't even do makeup or anything. And now it is getting closer to 11. It's 10:40. I usually go to sleep at 10, so I'm a little past bedtime. But usually I also wake up in the middle of the night, so maybe I'll just sleep through until morning, and that's what I hope. That'll be nice. And there was a straight up thunderstorm today with like winds, lightning, thunder. It was like loud boom, and I was like, what is that sound? I closed the windows. And I looked and I saw the flashing, and then it was like raining pretty hard. I don't think it's raining right now, but yeah, I like winter storm. Not like where disaster happens, but where the weather feels like refreshed. Yeah. I think I'm gonna wrap it up pretty soon. What else will I talk about? I don't remember. Oh, it was just a continuation. I had finished talking about Oscars. Oh, another thing that I'm gonna probably make a short about is if I won the lottery. I actually wrote it down so I could either read it or just memorize it and tell you guys. I'll do that in another day. Like if I won the lottery, like what would I do? And that would be a short. But who knows if it will be a short. No, it will be short. I'll just take fast. My Dr. Seuss. I'll make it rhyme. I'm just kidding. I like Dr. Seuss and Shel Silverstein as poets. And then in Spanish AP Lit, there was a lot of depressing ones. Like some, actually, when I went to Argentina and when I went to London, I was able to see some of the people that we learned about. And then in Argentina, I forgot what her name was, but she was a very Agustina. No, I don't know, but she's like a popular poet who like the way she died was she like jumped off a cliff into the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. And that's one of her last poems, I think. It's like about that. And there's a lot of like magic realism in Latino America. Don Quixote being a big example. But yeah, so Spanish AP Lit with Miss Campbell, I don't know, it was a good one. Then I ended up, okay, I didn't get the, okay, Bio IP I got a 5, but English Lit and, English Lit I got 2, Spanish Lit I got a 3, and then I think I got a 4 or 5 for English language. Spanish language, I for sure got a 5. I think English language, I got a 4. So what's funny is I did better in Spanish than I did in English in my AP classes. Like I got a 5 and a 4, I believe, or 3. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. I did take other ones that I can't even think. I ended up not doing history, which I should have because I think I was able to do it. Yeah, Bio AP was definitely my favorite in Spanish AP Lit. Chemistry, I didn't do. Physics, I didn't do. Did I do? Oh, calculus. I did calculus. That's how come I got to skip a math. But I only passed, I think, the AB and the BC. I got like a 2. I think the AB I got like a 4. I honestly don't know. Or a 3. A 3 for the BC. I'm not sure. Anyways, I'd have to look at it. I don't even know where those papers are. Some box. But I do keep all my stuff, so I have it. So. Okay, well, I passed the 20 minutes. It's going to be more like 25 minutes because it's about to be that. Anyways, I think today I will call this as it is. Maybe I'll make this another video too. So it's going to be like 3 videos. Intro and then the 2 other ones in 2 parts. But yeah. Alright, guys. See ya. Natty chats out.